Oh, yay!
Hello.
It is Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
You know what? When I scheduled our guest in for today, I had no clue what day of the week it was.
Really?
Yeah, I really didn't. And my wife and I were watching some baking shows, and all of a sudden, boop, they talk about Friday the 13th. And I thought, oh, yeah, that's it. Oh, wait, no, they mean the date. And I'm like, oh, I thought, because I thought they were talking about a movie. No, they were talking.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I had no idea today was Friday the 13th. And it's been an awesome 13th. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring the guest in, but I'm going to mention news that we have that we're going to share. And so without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce everyone to Mr. Kevin Cain, the haunted doll collector is what we'd like to call him. And tonight you actually will have, and we're going to move things around here so people can see. You have three amazing dolls there. Would you like to introduce them to us?
Yes, I have my very first ever haunted doll or item right here, Patty, the one that started it all. And then we have Robin, who was another early addition to my collection. And one that came along a little bit later, the Amelia doll. Her name is Ashley.
And for those that are listening, if you are listening via the radio station, you can go over to our TMV tab, and the live stream, the video stream is there, or you can just go to the YouTube page or Facebook page. But we want you guys to pay attention to these dolls because, go ahead, I'll let you tell. I want to say it, but you do it.
Well, this one right here, especially on the far end, little Robin, she, every once in a while, people have seen her eyes move. I don't know if that will pick up well, but she also sometimes winks and blinks. So that you should be able to see here if you got this on full screen, especially.
Yeah.
So after that, I've had people sitting and watching her and swear she just blinked. And I think once before, but I've never, of course, it's too fast to catch on video or anything like that.
Right. Well, what's one of the great things about doing this way is the fact that people can actually give the full screen feature while watching it. So, and I have like both Roku and Fire TV here at the house, so I can easily just put it on big TV and watch too. So, and I just spent the whole day yesterday downloading the entire radiothon. Now, let me explain why, because a lot of people are like, why in the world did you just do that? I mean, this is over 30 something hours of video. Okay. I downloaded it, and I know two parts to go looking at, because apparently we have possibly caught paranormal activity at one of the hosts' house. And so I will be going through that, trimming video, dumping video, putting it all together to see what we find. I'm really, really anxious to see what we do find, because, and of course I will be going back on another video because I actually saw a shadowy apparition. So we were doing a testing on their camera as well to see whether we saw something. But what's most interesting about it all, these headphones really mess up my glasses. What's most interesting about it all is when I first told Pam, I told Pam about the shadow. And then I was talking to her husband one night with, on video as well. And we went back and started checking it out. While checking it out, 3 dogs and cats, 2 cats, decide to keep looking in this one particular spot the spot that I claim to have seen the shadow. And so we're investigating it. We're actually gonna see. What blew me away too, though, we were doing, or I was playing or listening to was on before, the Funky Werepig, and in the Funky Werepig, while they're having fun doing their show, and of course I was producing his show live then. Everybody told me at the other house when I produced live shows, they could hear EVPs through the production. And there's some past shows on from another group that I need to go back and listen to. But while I was airing this one, I was hearing them. And they weren't quiet. They were pretty vocal. So I'm anxious. I'm anxious to get into this. So I want to take a moment. I'm going to keep Kevin focused like this, folks, so y'all can keep an eye on the dolls, see if we get any activity on those while we're doing this, and so you'll get Miss Annie and myself little bits.
Okay.
But as for the TMV Cafe Feed the Families, we have delivered as of now 8 turkey meals, and we're talking full-on turkeys with all kinds of foods to go along with it, which has been great. And believe it or not, some of the families we gave food to, they were in dire need. So I've got to thank everyone who's helped. Now, I will say this. We're going to give it some more time. Thanksgiving still isn't quite here yet. So if you want to jump in and still pitch in and throw some help this way, we just had 3 more. Well, let me rephrase it. We did have 3 turkeys donated today, and 1's already gone. So, I mean, that's how fast we've been able to go around blessing people with these things. So I want to keep that going, and I am seeing that activity on there.
Well, I just turned the K2 meter on. I didn't realize I turned it off.
Yeah, I saw it bounce. Yeah, I saw it bounce, but I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've played with the K2 meter. Do they, when you initially turn them on, do they light up all the lights?
So yeah, sometimes it'll do that.
Okay, yeah. See, that's it's standard for some things, and that's why I double checked that. So as soon as you turned it on, I saw it go, and I was like, "Is it just a turn on or what?" Okay. But also, where was I? Oh, you guys are gonna love a piece of paranormal news that was emailed to me. This Korean gentleman claims to be a time traveler.
Ooh.
Yeah. He accurately predicted April 2020 Korean election. Then he claims to have predicted the re-election of Trump. Now, here's the interesting part. This is a 26-minute interview that they have. This guy interviews him, and when he interviews him, this is already after Trump has been, Biden has been declared, president-elect. So here's what he's saying. In this interview, though, it says that Young Ho Choi, I hope I say that right, who is a time traveler from the future, accurately predicted the outcome of the April 2020 Korean election and predicts that Donald J. Trump will be successfully reelected U.S. president in the 2020 elections. Now, the November 10th, 2020 interview occurred on a day when the mainstream news media have declared Joe Biden as president-elect, and NATO allies of U.S. such as Trudeau, I guess, of Canada, Macron.
Oh, Trudeau.
There you go. See,
okay. You said Canada. Okay, I gotcha.
You know I'm not good with certain words.
That's okay. That's what I'm here for.
Macron of France, Merkel of Germany have congratulated Joe Biden as the incoming president. On the other hand, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo promised a smooth transition to a second Trump term. Now, this guy goes on to talk about quite a bit, but here's what he actually was quoted at one, and this was what stood out to me. It says, Donald Trump is the commander of the forces of the galaxy who has incarnated on Earth to fight evil. The best way that humanity can create a happier and safer planet is to support Donald J. Trump.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, he finishes off with disclosure of ET matters for Earth.
ET, yep. Like phone home extraterrestrials. Yeah. Okay.
When you say that you're a time traveler, there's a couple of things that, okay, you know, like Nostradamus. Everybody says Nostradamus was ahead of his time. Okay, great. Yeah, maybe. But it's not that hard for me to say, hey, come January, we're going to have a new president sworn in, but there's going to be some scuffle in the transition. I can say that. Why can I say that? Because I've been watching the news and I see what's going on, you know. However, I do have people who have asked me. I'm not psychic. I promise you, I'm not. I've watched certain things and I've paid attention to certain things. It's the business side of all that, and I've successfully called the presidents for at least the last 3 presidents before. Now, mind you, I gotta stress this. This is before they were narrowed down to 1 or 2 candidates. So when it was, if you remember, like back when Obama was standing there, and of course there was a bunch, I mean, this whole list of, and I called Obama was going to be the president. Everybody's like, no. I said, no, get ready. America's going to be shocked. It's going to be our first black president. Boom. Then, you know, we had all the Republicans and Democrats running, and I said, turned around and said, Trump's going to win. And somebody turned around and told me I was wrong. And, you know, I won't say all the other wonderful words they added, but hey, you know, I called it. And they asked me, how the heck do you do that? I said, it's paying attention to certain, not necessarily political outlets, but the wording, the certain things that they throw out. It's kind of like fishing. If you have the perfect bait, you hook the people. If you don't have the right bait, you know, you get a few, you know, little nibbles here and there, but that's about it. In this particular case, I've been able to watch it and call it out as it progressed. And, you know, like I said, some people told me I was nuts, but that's okay. When it was the first time, it won't be the last either. I mean, Annie calls me crazy all the time. So
you're not certifiable, but lovable.
All right. Well, as we mentioned, we do have Mr. Kevin Cain with us tonight, and let me ask this one question. I'll pop her up for a moment so it hides the dolls, but forgive me. Such an innocent, loving doll, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yet, a 4-foot tall doll like that terrorized a young lady and her roommate and boyfriend, and then caused a lot of other trouble afterwards. How does the
I don't know. I got Raggedy Ann and Andy, as I said a couple weeks ago, sitting on my dresser. I'm nice to them.
Okay,
I'm very nice.
But here's a doll that literally sat in an attic. You know who this is?
Robert.
Yeah, Robert.
Doll. Yeah, literally sat in an attic and terrorized people by running around. You know, I mean, and I understand in the museum that he's actually in, they still see him move around. Is that correct?
I think some of them do. Some people have said they've seen him in a different position.
Yeah.
They've left the room and come back. He might be turned a little bit.
Now, I know Annabelle was in that glass case, gosh, for decades. And was there ever reports of her being moved?
No, because she's crunched up in that little case. Too narrow for her to move.
There's no wiggle room.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it would have been kind of, not trying to disrespect the doll, but it would be kind of funny to kind of see her with two hands up and face against the glass. Let me out.
Yeah.
Don't make any suggestions.
I've actually been out of the
Tony
case.
Spears going to come get you for that one.
Okay, look, I'm trying to disrespect it. No, I give two wonderful dolls that, you know, at one time, well, like Raggedy Ann, everybody that grew up like us knew who she was, you know, Raggedy Ann and Andy, and, you know, the massive dolls were given back then. And then eventually over time, the dolls began to shrink. But this, oh, now, okay, I'm sorry. I have to pop this one up. Evie says that she's heard a story of an investigator who saw her tap on the glass.
Huh. That's a new one. Well, that makes me remember. I think I may have read somewhere where they heard it, where they heard a tap. But
yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised. They've got some, what do you call it, EVPs and stuff off of it. Now, let's talk about a couple of things on this, because I have, you know, again, for those who might just be tuning in, let me point out, we do have Kevin Cain with us. Such an awesome guy. We've had you on for quite a few times, but this is the first time we get to do it like this. And so we have a K2 meter, which just flashed. Yeah, and then we've got,
yes.
Oh, good. Yeah, now we can see that. That's good.
Yeah, that would be a little bit there.
And then we've got 3 dolls. Now, the one in the blue, for those who are watching right now, the one in the blue is said to either wink or both eyes closed. So keep your eyes open for that. There's a chance you could end up seeing that tonight. So here's the big question that I have to ask first. This is like the question, you know, believe it or not, I literally had this one rolling through my mind all day long. What happens to an innocent child's toy that something like this begins?
Well, as far as something like Annabelle,
yeah, that one
my answer to that would be demonics are very, I mean, and some people don't believe in it. I come from a Christian background. I've witnessed the demonic, and I do believe in it. They are very crafty.
Yes.
And they like to trick you, basically. And, you know, what's a better way to sneak in through your home than through the most innocent thing it can find? So like a Raggedy Ann doll would be a perfect conduit, and especially with these kids that have that Annabelle doll, I guess they were college kids, first experienced hauntings. It started out real innocent, and they had just things kind of moving around, and they had a psychic come in and do a reading and claim it was the spirit of a little girl. And they made the mistake of inviting her. She asked specifically, I've never had that with anything. This thing asked specifically, may I enter the doll? That should have been a red flag right there, but they didn't know. They thought it was a ghost. And they said, yeah.
Right.
And they invited it in. And that's how it got started. I've never had that happen with an item where a spirit asked me, can I haunt this, please?
Yeah.
I would say a human spirit doesn't even have that capability. They haunt these like they would haunt a house. They're not, well, I mean,
Uh-oh.
They're kind of inside the doll. They're not inside it so much as they just hang around it and they're drawn to it. Whereas a demon can use it as almost like a portal.
Right.
And I don't know enough to know how that works or why that works. It's just how we found it. That
Yeah.
I've never had a dog get up and start running around like Chucky with a knife. But
Well, yeah, let's hope not.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was my first thought. When I first heard about Annabelle, I was like, man, did Chucky just transfer bodies or something? We
way back before his time.
right. There's oh man, there's so much to do. Well, let me go back. Okay, I know I saw some that I have to questions. So Evie asked, do you believe that the image of sweet dolls are disguises for something more sinister?
It could be like I was just saying about the Annabelle doll. And that's why I warn people. I've had people, especially since the Conjuring movies came out, that stirred up interest again, once again, in Annabelle. For a while, it was quiet.
Right.
Until Conjuring came out, everybody's like, Annabelle, this new generation. What, Annabelle? What's that? There's a real haunted doll? And then everybody starts pouring online, looking at haunted dolls. It was about that time I'd already freshly had a Facebook page put up, so I had people hitting me up. Can I buy one of your dolls? How can I buy one? Oh, no, I don't sell.
I'm trying to get rid of them from you.
I don't trust y'all. But everybody seemed like wanted a haunted doll because they thought of it. They were looking at it as more like a party thing, some entertainment. Let's get a whole doll and see if it'll move around and creep us out. And they don't understand it's a serious subject. It's not just a Hollywood movie.
Right.
This is a serious thing, and you have to know what you're doing, and you have to respect. You have to protect yourself against the bad ones and to respect the good ones.
Yeah, I think one of the cool things that they did with this Annabelle movie is they didn't use a Raggedy Ann. Okay, now everybody's going to be like, why? Because then you would have this massive thing of people wanting to go get it, or they might go and vandalize the Warren's museum, and
or they might get in trouble with the Raggedy Ann people, have to pay money to use the image. I thought about that.
Right. So let's just create our own creepy doll.
I don't want to pay $1 million. I don't even know. I guess Mattel or whoever put that out back in the day.
Now, this is a good question. Do you know, I don't know if you know, is Annabelle under John Zaffis's care now, or is somebody caring for the museum still?
Yeah, Tony Sparrow, the son-in-law of the Warrens, married their daughter Judy. He takes care of it. I think she is more like her mother. Her mother, especially after Ed died, Lorraine would not go in that room. I heard her say one time, not without Ed. Ed's gone. I'm not going back in there.
Yeah.
So I think Judy's like that. She stays clear of the room. But Ed trained Tony on what to do and how to get the room properly blessed. Not just Annabelle, but all these other items they've collected in there. That and they're probably like me. They probably would say, well, some of them may not be haunted, but we had clients that didn't like them, so we removed it. So just in case.
Yeah, we I know you have a Facebook page where you show a lot of the dolls, and you've got some creepy looking dolls on there. What do you think about the Island of Dolls?
Oh, I would love to visit there if it was a safe place to get to. I mean, once you get there, you're okay. Well, as long as it's daytime, you're okay.
Yeah.
But it's very dangerous around that area because of the drugs and things like that go on, or the drug pandering.
I'm watching Annie. No.
Nope. Clowns, dolls. No, thank you.
I do have 4 dolls that came from the island, though, from the nephew of the original caretaker. We have a mutual friend, so I was able to score about 4 of those. But I would not have recommended removing anything from that island, but he did so because he didn't really believe it was haunted. He said it's getting junked up, and I'm going to clean some of this out. He probably thought his uncle was crazy. And then he gets these dolls home, big box load. His wife goes into panic mode. No, you're not going to bring that in. So she made him keep them in the garage. And my friend Myra is friends with him. And she got in touch with him and said, hey, I got to have some of those. So he sent some to her. And she said she sent me some before pictures of the ones I have. They were a filthy mess, and I've got to give her kudos. She cleaned them up really well, put new clothes on them and things like that. And I have had one of them give me activity. It's supposed to be haunted by the ghost of a little baby boy. And there is on my YouTube video I captured one night. I was sitting watching TV, and I heard it sound like a baby crying. I thought I was just coming from the show I was watching until my cat sat up next to me and was, looking toward the bedroom where some of my dolls, including that doll, were. And she gets up and takes off in there. And I hit the mute, and I realized that baby crying is still going. It's not the TV.
Oh, dear.
Oh, wow.
And it's not like a crier from a doll, those old dolls you could tilt back and went, yeah,
Mama.
Yeah.
This was a realistic cry. And I got up and switched on my camera and said, I'm hearing a baby crying. I switched on just in time. It happened one more time, and I caught it on video. And I went in the room, and as soon as I did, everything stopped. My cat came back out, and she was calmed down. And I didn't hear the cry again, but right inside that doorway is where that baby boy doll is that came from the island that's said to be haunted. And people have said, and Myra had said that they've heard babies cry around that doll.
Wow.
So I didn't expect. I find I get more activity when I don't expect it.
Mm-hmm.
I like to go into it skeptical, because then I'm not looking for it and setting myself up and getting paranoid and catching everything, every little noise I hear something.
Yeah.
So,
well, let's ask this question real quick, because I have to. I said I was going to ask you a little bit later, and I didn't mean to do that almost as quick as we started, but I'm watching the K2 meter, and I've seen it really kind of get a little active. So real quick, to help for any kind of skeptics out there, do any of these dolls have batteries in them? Any kind of... Okay.
We don't even have battery anything. There's nothing electrical. They're just cloth and porcelain. Robin does not have batteries. She's one of those old ones that you would pull a cord on the back and you would say,
like a Chatty Cathy doll?
Yeah, it's a tiny chatty baby. It's the baby sister of Kathy from the early 60s.
Yeah, I had one of those.
And she doesn't work. In fact, the cord is gone. But some jerk yanked it out.
Yeah, that's what happened to my Chatty Cathy. This kid next door said, let me do it. And he pulled it out. He said to my sister, let me see yours. Pull the one on hers out.
Yeah.
He was a jerk. We were stupid.
He take the cords and tie them together and put it around his throat and stuff.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And you see the doll with an in each hand.
Oh, my mom was so mad.
And then I'm just waiting for somewhere down the line, somebody's going to break out a Chucky doll that's actually going to start talking or freak everyone out.
You can get one. Go right ahead.
Oh yeah. No, they sold them. And look, I never thought about this. My wife has 2 ice cream dolls. They're the dolls that have the little ice cream cone, like as a necklace. So she has I think it's Mikey and Mandy are their names. And she's had them, gosh, as long as I've known her. And I can't say I've seen any activity around them or anything, but you know how it is when animals, there are certain things that they triggers that they let us know something's going on. thank God I've never seen my cats go nuts around these guys, or they'd be gone. But now, I asked this question, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful because I really respect the businesses that like you and John Zaffis do, and there's a reason why you guys do this, and this is where the question's going. Why in the world would you want to collect haunted items?
Why not?
Well, no. Okay, look, there's people who are going to say, like, I've got a picture of a little boy, and there's been a lot of activity around it. Trash.
Yeah, that's me. Remember what I said? Was it last week or something? We went to the antique store, saw that lovely picture. Tom said, "Remember what happened last time?"
Yeah.
Yep.
Keep going. Here's a good question.
Yeah, move along.
Do you introduce new dolls to the old ones?
I actually do. And to answer your question, if you'd asked me 7 years ago, hey, one day you're going to have a bunch of haunted dolls in your house, I'd say you're crazy.
Yeah.
I was already a paranormal investigator, but I, like a lot of people, thought if it's a haunted doll, it must be evil, like Chucky. And it turned out that was untrue. A friend of mine brought along Patty and introduced me to her. And that's what changed my mind and got me more curious about, hey, I need to learn more about these haunted items. But getting to that question, yeah, anytime I bring in, I know it may sound crazy to some people, but it's not the dolls themselves, it's the spirits. I think of them as, hey, these are, especially with these dolls, a lot of them are little girls. Girls love dolls and they sort of gravitate to them. So I talk to them like it's a child. Right. And try to make them comfortable. And I say, this is your new home. My house is your house. Just please respect me and don't scare me. Don't scare my cat. And behave, and everything's great. Otherwise, you just can be yourself. And I will say to the rest of them, everybody meets so-and-so. And I'll put, the doll or item there in the collection. And I'll try to give it time to settle in before I start trying to whip out the K2 and the recorder and talk to me, because then you feel like it's like if you invite a guest in, you get in their face trying to shove food in their mouth,
Right.
Just, back off, let them relax and make themselves at home.
What, I don't know how to ask this without being disrespectful, so I'm trying not to, but what do you do when you get these dolls and say they might be a little more, well, I'm just going to have to say the word that's coming to mind at the moment, a little more possessed than others? What do you do?
That's why I learned early on after I started doing this and my paranormal team, and I was letting them know what was going on. And, we realized it was something we were an element we were sort of missing. And I think I started into this haunted collecting just in time, because shortly after we had our first case that involved a haunted item. It was a mirror. And I learned, you mentioned John Zaffis earlier. I got online and studied up on what he does, because he blesses every item, or, does a little blessing or prayer over every item he brings into the collection that he has, which I believe he keeps underneath his house, like a huge basement museum. But I went on there and I found out how to do it. There's different ways. Being from a Christian background, I know that better. So I learned the Christian way with the holy water and the blessed cross and all that. And that came a lot easier, more natural to me.
Yeah.
Well, I learned that really quick, and I'm glad, because about a year or so later, well, it was further along. It's probably 2 years ago. A lady from Baton Rouge got in touch with me about a doll she bought online. And let this be a lesson. Be careful buying things online from people you don't know. But she bought a doll on eBay that was listed as haunted by a lovely female spirit named Lori. It's a beautiful, big, porcelain doll with this fancy antebellum dress on, or Victorian dress on. And it looks innocent enough, like we were talking about the Raggedy Ann doll. So this girl, like a lot of other people who'd seen the Conjuring movies and watched Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum show, said, I want me a haunted doll. So she bought this thing off eBay. Well, it gets to her house there in Baton Rouge, and probably a couple of days later, she started having these really violent nightmares. And she'll wake up with scratches on her arm, 3 scratch marks. And she goes out of her bedroom and sees her roommate, and her roommate also has 3 scratches down her arm.
Mm.
They talk about their dreams, and it turns out both of them had the same violent nightmares. Then they started hearing a disembodied growling in their house, which is a big red flag. Then the scratching continued, and the last straw was one morning when she woke up. This had been a little over a week since she'd gotten the doll. She woke up one morning to the feeling of a hand on her throat, squeezing like somebody trying to choke her. And she thought she was half asleep, but she came fully awake and it was still there. She said the first thing that came to her mind was say a prayer. So she did in the name of Christ, and the hand went away. So that's when she got online with one of her friends that, was interested in the paranormal and started asking her. And that friend heard about my Facebook and pointed her my way. So she contacted me and right away was like, I need to get rid of this doll. I don't want anything for it. I just tell me where I can send it. This is, something I don't want in my house anymore. I messed up. I shouldn't have bought it. And also she went back on eBay and the seller was gone.
Wow.
So the K2 lit up a little bit there.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I told her I have a P.O. box now set up for things like that. I don't want to give out my personal address for any weirdos that might come along, but I want something set up. So I set up a P.O. box.
Yeah.
I gave her the address, and I'm telling you, it wasn't the next day or so. She FedExed that sucker.
Overnight. Getting away.
She did not ask for any money. She didn't ask for me to pay for shit. She just shipped that sucker, and that was it. And I'm telling you, I went into it with a skeptical mindset. I've never had this happen with a haunted doll before. I went into it with a skeptical mindset of she probably was just paranoid or she's over dramatizing. She didn't ask for any money, so hey, if nothing else, is a free doll for me.
Right.
I get that thing in my house, or get the box in my house, and I open it up, and this cold breeze, it was like it was freezing in the box.
Mm.
My cat is like most cats, is very curious. Whenever I have a box set up on the counter, she's up there. She hops up.
Yeah, cats, boxes.
Gotta see.
She comes up like her normal self, and then she sees the box, but instead of jumping on the counter, she turns and tucks tail and runs out of the room and goes and hides under my bed, which she only does when she's really frightened.
Mm.
Really bothered by something. So I said, yeah, there's something up here. And I was feeling very sick to my stomach. In the past, when I've been somewhere where there was a really negative spirit, I would feel nauseous. And this thing was making me nauseous.
Mm.
But okay, we got the real deal here. It's time to test out my skills. The crucifix and the holy water. And luckily I had a doll box I had purchased just in case somebody ever contacted me needing to get rid of a doll.
Right.
And so luckily I had that in advance. So I had it set up. I said, I'm going to bless this thing, and I'm going to shove it in that box and seal it. And that's it. She ain't coming out of there.
I don't blame you.
I'm doing the prayer in Jesus' name. Bless this doll, cast out all evil, so forth. The blessing contains words to, bless the person who had it before, bless my house, and anybody else that comes in contact, just cover everybody.
Right.
So as I'm doing this, I feel the crucifix is around my neck with a rope, and I feel a tug. The rope snaps, and that crucifix falls to the floor. Now, another thing I learned, the instant you show fear, they feed off that.
Yep.
So I just call it a blessing from God. The first thing in my mind was, don't panic, don't, you got to not show fear. And I did. I showed no surprise. I leaned down, picked up that crucifix, and I put it on the doll.
Take that.
Yeah, you don't want me to wear it. You wear it, you. And I blessing that thing and spraying it with holy water until the nausea went away, the atmosphere lifted, and my cat finally comes slowly walking back in the kitchen, looking around like it was all.
Yeah.
So I put the doll in the box, put extra holy water inside on the sides of the box around it, sealed that sucker, and I put her on the highest shelf I could get her on. And stayed in touch with the client for a couple of weeks after. She and her roommate did not have any other problems, no scratches, no nightmares, no growling, no choky in the morning.
Yeah.
And the only time I've had anything related to that doll happen is when about a year later, I invited my paranormal team over to, once a year I'd invite them over to have a little fun investigation with my collection and maybe throw some hamburgers on the grill.
Right.
And this time I had the Lori doll sitting up on that top shelf. And one of the guys, big husky guy, nothing usually phases him, gets over near her, and he keeps watching that doll. And he turns around, and he's looking at me like he is just completely spaced out. And he starts begging me, please let me take that doll home. I need to take that doll home, please, please. And one of our sensitives, Kat, was there, and she was just shocked. And she looked at me, I looked at her, and I said, buddy, you need to come out of the room and get away from that doll. So
yeah.
I guided him out. And I jokingly, of course, it's not really a joke, but I kind of jokingly said, I guess I have my own Annabelle doll here. But he was fine when we got him out of the room. But people have asked me, when are you going to do an EVP or a spirit box session? I said, I'm not with that doll because I feel like the second I show it any attention, it's going to feed off of it.
Yep.
So I just leave her up there in that box. She's in her own little world, and I'm not going to.
And this is the reason why right away they tell you don't give in to the fear, because that's what it's going to feed off of.
Yes.
And the second you start to give in to the fear, you're giving it energy, and it's, and it progresses. There a couple of questions here. The first one that came up is, do you think human-like objects are easier to possess than other objects?
That's a new one. I haven't had that question before. That's a good one. I'm going to say, in my own thinking, I don't think it is. I think they can provide, as far as ghosts, they can. Now, demons probably will use anything they can get their hands on. Probably they're going to go with the most unassuming items they can find. They're not going to go get that zombie doll over there and use that. They're going to get raggedy Ann or something. But as far as a human spirit, they can pretty much come and go as they please, and they can either hang around this, or they can hang around this mouse or that screwdriver over there, whatever.
Yeah.
I've got a one of those old cobbler stands. I used to hammer shoes on.
The shoe, yeah.
I've got one of those in there that has a gentleman ghost with it.
Really?
And, I've got a little jewelry box that a little girl named Polly has said to haunt. I haven't had any activity from that yet. I have a pair of old glasses that a doctor wore back in the turn of the century, and it was claimed from the place that used to run a museum where I got that from. They claimed his spirit was still attached to it. That I did. I have a video on YouTube, and I did get a weird anomaly showing up on the video that I couldn't really explain.
Yeah, it's kind of hard certain things to explain and debunk and so forth. Let me put up something here for those who don't know. One of Kevin's newest books is this here. It's called Crimson, the Blood Painting. It is also available on audiobook.
Yes.
And so totally worth getting. I know you have a plethora of books. I got to use the word. So you guys can go to writerkevincain.com to check out all his books. And what's really cool about your website that some people might not catch is you autograph the books before you ship them.
Yeah, I do. I personalize them or whatever. And the My Haunted Dolls thing I have over here, that's myhauntedolls.com. It's the same website. I just bought that domain came up, and I bought it real cheap, and I said I might as well have it.
Right.
And so you can use either website, writerkevincain.com or My Haunted Dolls. It's the same website.
Right. So then that's it. So everyone can see that all over there. Now, there was a big controversy. Annie, I don't know if you heard about this controversy. And so we're going to kind of get pushed away here for a moment. Not away, but off to the side. So everybody gets squeezy. Okay, so here is eBay. And if you notice, I put in the box here, haunted doll.
Mm-hmm.
I have heard about oh, good. There's a little clown for you, Annie.
Thank you, EW.
Oh, how about this one? I've heard about all these dolls on here. Oh, she's got amazing eyes. I've heard about all these dolls on here, and there's people who said they've actually bought them. I'll stop scrolling here in a second. There's people who've actually bought them and complained that they were not haunted. And then there was one complaint at one time that literally said they made a mistake purchasing that. So what do you think about this? I mean, the fact that somebody can actually go to a website now.
That's where I got mine. I think I got 2 of them, 2 or 3.
I tell people just, if you're going to do that, I can't go around the world putting guns to people saying, don't do it, don't do it.
Right. Yeah.
People going to do what people going to do.
Yeah, we're going to have to start doing a John Wayne warning.
Yeah. Well, I think that I haven't seen you for a while, but I think I was telling you about that the last time that I was seeing you, and that they were in the attic. I had boxed them up when we moved in here, and they were in the attic, but I did get rid of them.
Oh, okay.
Because nothing happened. I got it off of eBay, the first one, and it came with this story, this story that this little girl died, or one of them I think was actually abused to death, and her spirit was in the doll. And
see, this to me looks like it's when you see it on eBay. Now, there's a difference between what Kevin's doing and then what you see on eBay. I think what we see on eBay is somebody just trying to make a quick buck.
Probably, because I did, this was back in probably 2006, 2007 when I did this. And I won it, and I was like, do I tell my husband about this? This was before that picture.
Right.
And,
yeah.
I didn't tell him.
Tell him now that you want to get something on eBay that says it's haunted. I bet you won't get it.
I am not that crazy anymore. I mean, I was just, after I did it, I was real sorry that I did, because I was real apprehensive about getting this doll. She was beautiful. And my mom collected dolls, and I actually like dolls. But,
right.
But then I went and did it again. I was like, you're a really mental girl. Tugging on Superman's cape.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Pulling the mask off the old Ranger. But, I didn't really, I think it through. And this was before Annabelle, of course, after Chucky, because that was 1988 or something.
I'll be to the end.
What?
Well, that's his phrase. I'm Chucky. I'll be your friend to the end.
Yeah, take this, friend. Yeah, but I definitely don't get things like that when I go antique shopping.
Yeah.
I mean, I see them, and I love some of those really old dolls. I would love to have one.
You know the antiques that I get, and so yeah, we're gonna have like an exorcism if something's connected to those bad boys.
Don't worry, honey. I'll take the lamps off your hands. Not a problem.
So Evie asks, what's the proper way to dispose of an allegedly haunted doll?
I was going to say that last question, though, before I move on to that one, I just tell people, be careful. If you're going to go on eBay, check their history and feedback. Just try to at least get it from the best sources possible. Look for a true investigator who collects them.
Right.
But yeah, as far as just call me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always tell people, probably the first thing I would say, and this might not be you would think, but it's not always the workable route, is to maybe, if you have a church family or if there's a priest in your area, to contact them. Some of them, for whatever reason, won't get involved if you're not a part of their church, which kind of makes me think, well, are we supposed to be going out and helping people outside the church? But anyway, that's me.
Yeah, as a pastor, I totally agree. The church should not be like that.
Other than that, get hold of, maybe if that don't work, see if there's a paranormal team that can help you, or come to myhaunteddogs.com. You can ship it to me, and I'll bless the sucker. If I can't get it to work, I've got a backup friend, Cherie, who's a lot stronger than me when it comes to casting out spirits. I've seen her at work.
Right.
So I'll send it to her and she'll take care of it. But yeah, somebody's out here that can take it off your hands, and we will not charge to do that.
I'm not sure, Annie, you confirm with me or not. See, we've had you on the show before, and one of the times we were actually in a Skype call together, and you had the video on the dolls. But I don't recall having issues where like lights flickering or connection issues.
That was. I saw that too.
Okay. So the moment when you said, if you needed somebody, call me, you actually had where it was like pixelating and the lights flickered. So and I wasn't the only one that saw it. It was actually,
I saw it too.
I didn't see, I didn't notice anything here.
Yeah, which brings me to a question that's in my mind. Is there too much to have? Can you have too many of these things where it could cause a problem?
Well, I have, I know, a little over 300. My friend Cherie has over 600, and we haven't had a problem yet.
Okay. I mean,
I set boundaries, and they respect that. It shouldn't be the ones that do cause problems. We can deal with those, but
yeah. Well, I think John, it's been a while since I've talked to him. I don't know if I can still get a hold of him anymore. John Zaffis, last time I talked to him, he was getting a warehouse to store stuff. Yeah, he was getting a lot of stuff.
That's one of the reasons I bought a bigger house. I moved into this house. I went from my other house was like 1,600 square foot to now it's over 3,000 square feet. This is
okay.
Horse ranch right here, so I got a lot of property to work with, and that's one of the reasons I had to expand, because I had, my little house over there, my little garden house I was living in was getting kind of tight.
Yeah, I could imagine. Wow, I wouldn't know. See, I'd be scared. Not necessarily like scared of dolls or anything in this case, but scared to say, I think we might have one too many items. What's that straw that breaks the camel's back? I think I got it. But yeah, so really cool. Through this, I have seen at points where we've laughed and talked, that the EKG or EKG, that meter, because I'm Yeah, I'm thinking hard all of a sudden. Anyway, EPK, that meter, I'm not even going to try to say the words anymore. Jesus. Right. The meter has gone off several times. I don't know about movement. This is going to be one of the ones where we're going to have to go back over the video.
There's afterwards. I want to say something, but I'm not going to.
Right.
I might think I'm nuts, but.
Well, I know I shared a video with Annie. This guy was given the top 10 doll activities, so to say, on a video on YouTube. And a couple of them I'm like, yeah, no, I'm sorry. Doesn't even cut it. But there was like one where, you know, and I meant to ask my wife this because I guess at quinceañeras, they give them a doll that looks like them. And somebody said something and the doll turns, literally in her hands, turns, looks right at her.
Yeah,
I would be on the ground.
Oh, you should have seen
That's
this.
it.
Oh, she threw that sucker and was gone. and I'm like, okay, see, now this is one of those ones I can't explain. But I did find out in other news, the 7 dwarfs have been advised that they can only meet in groups of 6. One of them isn't happy.
Yeah, never drink anything.
Never drink when I'm tired.
No.
I'm not happy.
Oh, there it went again.
Oh, that. Now, that was weird. I could see it on the screen, but that was weird.
It's going through. Now, this is where you don't have the self-adjusting autofocus, and I know that because I've worked with too many webcams to know the difference on those. So you don't have that, which is good for us because we can't. That's an easy throw to the side, but we are seeing a certain activity, which is going to be fun to go back and use to look at later. Dad jokes, really? Thank you. Anyway, so yes, real quick, if you guys, you got to get his new book. Let me put the picture up again because I did put it away. Kevin Cain's new book, Crimson, the Blood Painting. It is a novel. It is also an audio book, and it is totally worth the read.
I can't wait to start reading that. I got it on my
I got it on my Kindle as well.
My Kindle yesterday.
The only reason I didn't get to start reading is we've been busy handing out turkeys all week. So, I thought, I got time to read. No problem. Who knew? So, yeah.
Yeah. Tom's off today, so I hadn't had a chance to do anything.
Yeah. I'm anxious to get back and have more dolls on one day, or even just literally be in the room during one of the episodes and talk, because it's amazing the things that we see and hear. Like I said, the innocence that starts. I often wonder if it's something that comes to a point where, like us as adults, we're, not in the paranormal field, us adults not in the paranormal field, basically can look at something and say that it's no such thing, it's not real. And children, they have imaginary friends, in which we've learned over time that some of them might even be the spirit of a loved one that's passed on, because they describe them. And it's not been one account, it's been multiple accounts. Then we have motherly intuition, which is another unexplained phenomenon that fits in the paranormal field. So then we come to dolls, and did that doll's head just move? Okay, 5942. I will come back to that.
Which one?
The tall one standing there.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not watching her. I'm watching the Robin.
I didn't expect it. That's what threw me off. It got my attention, and I'm coming back to watch that.
All right.
Because if I saw something there, I'm gonna be like, yeah, she needs to be talked to. Anyway, so yeah, we have the children with the age of innocence. So I wonder sometimes if that's what brings it into dolls in this particular case. But later on, we know things like John Zaffis has collected some pretty cool items, including one of the old wind-up record players. And I'd heard a story behind that one. Now, I don't know how true it is. I've heard different stories, so I don't know which one's the correct one. But
it's gone off again.
Yeah, I'm watching it. There was a guy who loved that record player, and all the way to the end, until he died, he played that thing every day. And so they believed it was his spirit that was attached to it because that was his favorite item. And that's not the first time I've heard something like that. So could that be the same situation with these dolls?
It could be. Some of these I know, like Robin, the spirit of Robin actually owned the doll in life. And I'm going to put her close up here so you can see. The color of the arms are discolored. And the fingers are kind of melted in. And the reason she's allegedly with this doll is because it was her favorite toy. It was actually with her when she died. That's according to the story, the family who had the doll, supposedly relatives of Robin. Turn her around, you can see her eyes. Oh, that was me. That was not paranormal.
I didn't do it.
There we go. I wanted to show those arms because it lends credence to the story that the doll was with her when she died, because she died in the heat when her babysitter left her locked in a hot car one summer day back in the early 60s. The babysitter was going around doing errands and decided, I'm going to have a drink. So she pulls off at a bar, leaves this poor 3-year-old child in the car, locks it up, goes to the bar, starts chugging back beers.
Wait, the windows up and everything?
Yeah. And this poor baby died in the car from heat exposure. And that's why the arms were discolored and the fingers kind of melted a little, because of the heat, which to me, lends a little evidence that this isn't just a story. I actually got a picture when I was doing an EVP session with her. I heard footsteps in my hallway, and I asked Robin, if that's you, can I take a picture? And I snapped it looking down the hallway. And in the picture, it's in that book, My Haunted Collection, or you can see it on my YouTube page on the Robin story video. In the picture, I didn't see it, but on the picture, this white wispy shape is in the hallway. It's very see-through. It's like a little girl coming down the hallway toward me.
Oh, wow.
So she's so far the only haunted item that's given me a physical apparition photo, other than just the the usual orbs that may or may not be something. So I'm finding a lot of these items I get are haunted because the person that once owned them, like Robin, it was an item they loved and they owned and they're familiar with, so they hang around it.
Yeah.
And that's why
what's the name of that book again?
Which one?
With the picture of the little girl.
Called My Haunted Collection.
Yeah, I think. Let me see here. I was going to put up his Amazon page, but you know how Amazon is. They got like this link that's like 20 miles long. So
yeah.
But I believe, if I recall right, you go to his website, writerkevincain.com, and some of the books will take you straight to his Amazon page, and then you can actually find every single book there. And I think didn't I share the link with you for the Crimson?
Yes, you did.
Okay, so when you go there, if you go to his you see his name is highlighted in blue. If you click on it, it'll take you to his writer's page, and it has all his books in there. And trust me, there's some really good books in there. I want to say, Kevin, it's been a while since I've watched your page, but I need to go back and start looking at your YouTube page, because the last time I watched, you were pulling out shoes that you had just received live.
If you go on there, the last video I put up, in fact, last weekend, I've got a really special item in my collection I got last year, and that is a homework paper, handwritten and signed, because kids write their name on their homework paper, by Heather O'Rourke from the Poltergeist movies. This is a homework paper that she completed and dated and signed. It was almost a month before she died.
Oh, wow.
And I got they finally, I mean, she died in 1988, but her family held on to a lot of her things. And just recently, because her mother has gotten on in her years, and her sister Tammy has grown up, probably, a few years older than me. They finally got together and said, we got to part with some of this stuff. So they started, and I think some of it went to benefit one of the charities Heather used to like when she was alive that's still around. But they started pulling off some of those items. And the homework paper she had from assignments she completed on the set, they instead of selling the folder, they just sold them piecemeal, each page at a time. And they had a teddy bear, her toy teddy bear that she owned. I hate that I missed out on that, but I'm sure I probably wouldn't have been able to afford it.
Yeah, eventually that would be too much.
Homework paper alone was $200, and I never spent $200 on a piece of paper before.
Yeah.
Just an average piece of paper. This is, a homework assignment from a little celebrity who's passed away.
It's like going to Cameo and asking them to, give you a shout out. You're paying X amount of dollars, almost $200, for them to give you a 5-10 second video. And I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, now maybe for Danica McKellar I would do it because she gives all the proceeds to a charity, but still, I mean, yeah.
But I did they didn't claim any of her stuff was haunted. I think it's cool too because the paper came with a signed certificate from her sister Tammy, who was also an actress back then. So I've got 2 signatures for the price of 1, but they didn't claim anything to be haunted or anything like that, but I just wondered. I got it and I framed it with her school photo and the certificate her sister signed of authenticity.
Right.
And I said, I wonder, is there any energy with this? Just out of curiosity. I may have an item here that might have something to it. It might not just be a piece of paper.
Yeah.
So I decided, for at least, if nothing else, to entertain my viewers on YouTube, to do a spirit box session with it. And I actually got some little responses from the spirit box that sound like her voice.
Ooh.
That is out there. It's the latest video. I posted it last week.
Okay. And you're gonna make me go look it up now.
That was almost a 20-minute video, but most of the activity of the responses were in the first 10 minutes. That I left it going for another 10 minutes in case, there were some anomalies that people pointed out, and I kind of jumped at one that passed in front of the camera that could have been maybe my cat's hair floating by. I don't know. Big orb person, but it was still kind of weird, and
right.
People thought that was interesting. But yeah, those 3 little responses, just 3 of them from the spirit box, really.
Actually, I think I saw. I didn't look at it. I mean, I was scrolling through Facebook, but somebody must have put that on one of the groups I'm with, like this weird, odd phenomena stuff. I don't think I saved it though. Because usually I'll save something like that.
Yeah. It's My Haunted Dolls on Facebook.
Yes, My Haunted Dolls.
Or not Facebook, YouTube.
On YouTube and
Facebook.
Put in My Haunted Dolls, mine would come up right away. But I think other channels have started using that name, so it's not as easy to find mine or know which one is mine.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just put in My Haunted Dolls Kevin Cain, and something is going to pop up there that'll lead you.
Yeah.
Or go to my website. I've got a link on the links page that'll take you to the channel.
Okay, I'm not sure I can get this question in right. She says, if you had a haunt.
If you had a haunt.
Okay, I think if you were to hunt a particular doll, which one would you like to hunt?
Yeah, I haven't really thought about
it. I know which one I would do.
Personally, no offense, kids. Personally, I'd rather haunt a house or, a land somewhere so I have room to spread out. But if I had to, gosh, I probably would pick a clown doll because people.
Great. You fine. You do that.
Remember, you're supposed to send her a clown.
No, thank you.
No. And I should have brought one in here to stand up.
Yep.
All right.
So, but yes, I do see that is the Heather O'Rourke's picture is on there, which was posted 5 days ago. So you guys can go check that out. And some of the other ones would be and I just lost it. I had it up here. That's what I get for moving. Abnormal Paranormal, which I believe is the group you're with.
Oh yeah, Abnormal Alabama. We do a podcast every Tuesday night. I met them. They held a convention early last year, and I met them, and we just kind of connected. And I started going on their show. Originally, I was just going to be on there as like a guest, like I'm doing right here, and then all of a sudden, I just sort of became part of the family. My little mug is up there every Tuesday night.
Yeah,
talking.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I never thought I would be going video. I always thought we would stay radio. I know video is kind of what killed the radio, but it's things like this where we can watch something happening or potentially happen, and that gets your attention. You got to be focused in on that. But normally when it's just like talk, like almost like talk radio, it's like, I can listen to them and not watch, So, yeah.
But that's good that we're doing this in a way, because remember how I used to talk or you used to talk and we're kind of like,
yeah.
Yeah. Now that we know that what we're doing.
Yeah. You get that way over time, you listen to the people and you're just like, yeah, she's talking. Okay.
Well, in the beginning, your voice used to put me to sleep.
Oh, wow.
I would listen, in a nice way. Okay?
See, now you make me want
to. You are boring. You're never boring. But it's the voice that you have is so soft, and it's like, okay, he'd be talking to somebody, and then he'd say, well, what do you think, Annie? And it's like, what?
Yeah. She's like, huh? Yeah. Okay. Let me introduce.
Let me think about that. That's what I used to say. Let me think about that.
Let me introduce you to where is she? Elaine Martin. Okay, so there's times I struggle falling asleep. Okay. I mean, they give me Valium, they give me pain pills. I suffer some horrible insomnia. I've literally been up for 4 days straight.
Ooh.
And mind you, the statement of being up longer than 72 hours, you start to hallucinate, is a very true fact. Okay. So 4 days straight. In fact, during the radiothon, I had a hard time trying to take naps at certain points. I couldn't do it. So I went to YouTube and I found some of these people that kind of talk you to sleep, like this lady here.
Please do not listen to this session whilst driving a car. Hi there, this is Elaine Martin. 'You are listening to this session today. You 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 because you want help to sleep.
Okay, so what she does is she talks you into sleep, and she has that voice. Okay. Now, that's not the main one that I listen to. And in fact, I'm trying to contact her because I want to interview her on Free Pie Night. But, there's quite a few other people who do similar things, and they do that. And they just say, okay, pay attention to my voice. Now, take a deep breath.
Kind of like hypnotizing in a way.
In a sense, yes. But then after a while, I don't know if I'm listening to them or the music that's playing in the background or what, but at one point I'm just and then as soon as it's over, which is less than 30 minutes, it's like, wait, what happened? It's over. So yeah. So I know you get some good rest around me. Okay. See, she's not denying it. Yeah, it is like guided meditation, Evie. Exactly. Yeah, I do want to kind of try to do that to help people, because I know what it's like to not be able to sleep. So, if I can learn, but there's people who are they're getting these videos up really fast, and they're successful. They're doing it. But I want to know what is so special about the way they're doing it versus anyone that could just get up and start doing it.
I know I don't have the voice to do something like that.
Right. I didn't think I did either until now.
Oh, you do. You do.
All right. I need to ask a question. The young lady that you have, doing your audiobook.
Yeah, Lynn R. Thomas.
Yeah, I was gonna let you introduce her and kind of tell us.
Okay.
I was like, he's gonna tell. No.
I was like, yes. Lynn Thomas. She's a voice actress that mainly works on audiobooks for the most part. I think she's done a little TV and stuff, but she's mainly doing the audiobooks now. And I met her on going through ACX is the system I use, that you can go in and if you've already got a book published, you can submit it and try to get somebody to do it. And it can be, because the actors got to eat, they got to get paid. So I thought, and she didn't charge very much. She mainly took, a royalty agreement. So I didn't have to pay, more than a few $100s. It's worth it to me because I've had some pretty good sales with that audiobook. And I don't have to worry, she's getting her royalty.
Right.
One-time fee at the beginning to get her started. And she was wonderful. I listened to a few samples, and I was going to go down and just kind of click, ACX, they give you a page depending on what type of book you're publishing. Mine was suspense, novel was the closest I could find. They didn't have ghost books out there, so I picked suspense, and I'm listening to all these men coming up with their deep voices.
Yeah.
Ooh, sounding very white voices. And I thought I can see where they're going with this, but to me it's not creepy. And then there was something about, she was the first female that popped up there, Lynn R. Thomas, and I clicked on her. There was just something about her voice that's, there's nothing abnormal about it, but it's just sort of got this behind it,
Yeah, right.
And I sent her a contract request, and she agreed, which blew my mind, but sent me a sample so I could hear, her reading a chapter of my book so that I could hear what it's going to sound like and make sure she's who I wanted. I thought she sounded fantastic. Here I was looking for a guy with a deep voice, great voice to do the story. But there was something about this woman's voice that I don't think she had done a lot of horror books. In fact, when I told her what I was looking for, she's like, and my name popped up. I said, yeah, go figure. But I said, that's good for me. So she said, well, this is interesting. I've not done a book like this before, so I'd like to give it a try. She did fantastic. There was no, over dramatizing. She just went with her voice, and there's just something about it that's just.
Yeah, see, I think if I ever do an audiobook, I'm going to try to get Sam Elliott to do it.
I want Morgan Freeman or Samuel L. Jackson.
Right? That was the first thing I thought of. Go with Sam Jackson for your next book.
I want him on my GPS.
Yeah, right?
Definitely.
Well, I could have done that if I was sitting on a bundle of money, but I couldn't afford any of those guys.
Yeah. No, I know those guys, yeah, they're not cheap, but yeah, no, I wondered about that because I mean, I saw that and I was like, I've never heard of this individual, but apparently she's done quite a few.
She's got a lot of audiobook. That's mainly what she's done. So she's not, even though she's a voice actor, it's mainly for these audiobooks. It's not. I think I saw a little bit of TV credit for her just voiceover stuff.
Right.
But mainly it's, I mean, she got a slew of audiobooks. So, yeah, I'm glad I came across her.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say, I've never thought about doing any of my books in audiobook, only because I think, well, it's different because when you, like for me, I write murder mysteries. And so when I'm writing, I want you as the reader to have your own voice. And instead of somebody else trying to portray the voice of the, and say, well, this is what I think they're saying, No. You're going to portray it the way, because then when you get deep into it, reading it, you're not going to stop. That's the point. So, yeah.
And I did do there's my other book that's a nonfiction book, The Legends of Indian Narrows, is also audiobook, but it's me doing it. I did. And God, that's over 3 hours of recording. It's not easy. I mean, I had to space it out and do it, a little a day. Where somebody like Lynn will sit there. She got this whole. I mean, hers is that book is 7 hours long on audio. Crimson. She knocked it out in a matter of a few weeks, and this was around the holiday time this time last year that she was working on it. And she got knocked out before Christmas. So,
wow, that's amazing.
We'll sit all day and talk. God, I have a raw throat. I mean,
hey, I did that radiothon last week, and I was hurting. So, trust me, I know what it's like. So yeah.
And not to mention when I did it, I submitted it to ACX. They distribute to Audible, iTunes, and all that, Amazon, and they started nitpicking. Well, you got too much of a space in the beginning. It needs to be 2 seconds as opposed to 3. And it took me several tries. I started to write a very nasty email, and I said, no. Bear with it, submit it, it'll pay off. And
right.
I didn't have to pay anybody for anything. I just, did it myself and get the royalties. And that one sold a little bit too. So that, at least I got my money's worth.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so let's talk about the big doll for a moment. What color are her eyes supposed to be?
Yeah, we haven't talked about her yet. Without knocking the cake too over. Her eyes are this. I wish I had a spotlight here. Well, you can see it pretty good. She got these kind of really bright neon green eyes.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was noticing they were green.
And if you do a YouTube video search of $1 million or $100 million, I know there's at least 2 or 3 of these. There's one which I found out this particular one is not that exact doll, but there's one out there a man owned that he claimed kept moving around his house and giggling at him. And one night he woke up, he put her in his bedroom. And one night he woke up to see her eyes glowing in the dark and she was waving at him.
Oh, yeah. Hello.
We called for help and paranormal team came and got her. And somebody out there has that doll who I've seen on one of my haunted doll groups. It's got the serial number that matches what the man had. This one came from a paranormal investigator who lives in Louisiana.
Okay.
And, he told me, this is a different one, but it's said to be haunted too. With her, when I first got her, I would hear little tapping noises on the wall, and I would hear her giggle. And with her came the story too. They claimed that the eyes became green because her doll became possessed, and they used to be brown, but now they're green because she's possessed. Ooh, bugga bugga. And I said, let me find out about this, because
that's an easy manufacturer look.
It's too Hollywoodish to, come up with that story. So I checked with the Amelia doll manufacturer. Not only did they manufacture these eyes like this.
There it goes again. Did you see that?
Yeah, I see it flickering. That's weird. Are you doing that, Ashley? The spirit's name is Ashley. It's a little preteen girl. I don't know why she haunts the doll. I guess she likes it. But the manufacturer, not only did they manufacture several dolls with these green eyes, there's a bunch of these Amelia dolls out there, but they have some with neon purple, some with neon pink, some with neon red, blue, really neon looking blue, just freaky eyes.
Why would they do a neon red?
I don't know.
Sounds like a demon.
Right. It is. I mean, if you want a Halloween prop, that's the perfect doll.
Really?
Exactly.
They're not cheap. You might spend $70 to $100 at least on these dolls, because they're collector type dolls before they were ever being haunted.
Don't put her back yet. If you notice, since he picked her up, the K2 has not flashed.
Oh. I've had activity with her. I meant to tell that story, but we got time for me to tell you?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. I've taken her on a few investigations because she sort of became a fan favorite with my team and people that I know that have been on my website and everything. She's sort of like a celebrity, And so I've taken her on some of the public investigations we've done. And Talladega Public Library called us out to do a Halloween event, to do a nighttime investigation, because they've had some spooky goings on. So I brought Ashley, and I pull up into the parking lot, and a friend of ours, Blaine, who comes and joins our team sometimes. He's kind of a little bit sensitive. He's got a Native American background. And he had his spirit box out just playing with it. He was the first one to arrive. I was the second. He said he looked up, he had the spirit box on, and he looked up and saw my car pull into the library driveway from the street. Out of the spirit box, hears a little voice say, "Daddy's here."
Oh.
I pull up, and I decided to back into the spot near where Blaine was parked. I saw him back there. He said when I backed up, he heard the same voice say, "Daddy's backing." So I back up and get parked, and I'm not even getting the door all the way up until he runs up. He goes, "You got that Ashley doll with you, don't you?" How in the heck did you know? Because I didn't tell anybody who I was bringing. He waved the spirit box, and she's been chatting. And it seemed like for the rest of the evening, she just kept messing with him. We were sitting in one of their research labs where some paranormal activity's been going on, and she was sitting on the table, and Blaine, who's got kind of long hippie-ish looking hair, was sitting back, and we're not paying any attention to Ashley here. All of a sudden he starts doing this, and he's looking around, and then he does it again, and he looks at it, and then finally he looks at her, and then he looked at me and said, "Would you tell your daughter over here to quit pulling my hair?" Yeah. What? He says, "I feel these little fingers get a hold of my hair and pull." And I look around, and it's like almost if a kid was doing it and then jumping back,
All right, now you got to put her back on the table. I want to know before we let it go here for the night, because if you paid attention when he picked her up, there was no flashing whatsoever. And there was one so far, but I want to know if she might be your setting off your meter.
She did this last weekend when I was doing this virtual paranormal convention they had last week that I was a speaker on, and I thought it was set up just like this with the same dolls, and every time I'd hold it up to her or Patty, it would kind of light up, but mainly with her. And so I guess she likes the K2 meter.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't even do the little jumps. Yeah, there was 3 right there. It didn't
Ask her to do that, EW.
Huh?
Ask her to do it.
You ask. I'm not talking.
Are you eating chicken?
I did have chicken for lunch, yes.
Oh.
Yep, I'm watching. She knows.
Ashley, sweetie, can you light that up for me? Can she hear me? Can you light that up really good?
Light it up to red. Make it go red.
Can you please light it up to red?
Red's a pretty color.
And I'll say I do not have a cell phone anywhere near me. Sometimes it sets things off, but mine is way in there.
Because I don't want to do parlor tricks. Who is that lady?
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. She's like talking to both of us at the moment. Like, I don't know who you are. I'm not lighting up for you. But well, maybe she likes my voice. I don't know. Maybe it's soothing to her. I don't know.
It's a real pretty dress you got there, sweetie.
Well, you know, that was one thing I was gonna say for these dolls. Like her and Patty, if you notice when they made these dolls, they made them like very elegant, very, you know, the clothing it matches like a time era and so forth.
Yep. And my mom had those.
Yeah, all the way to the teddy bear. I was laughing. I'm not laughing, but I was thinking, man, that teddy bear is kind of cute too, because I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they did a good job. You know, the hair, the little,
the curls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did have to say, I thought those was an amazing color of eyes.
Very pretty.
Yeah. I'm an eye person. I watch certain shows and, they have these people on, even my wife. She'll look at you or look at me and say, look at this person's eyes. And we'll both, we're just forget the show. We're just staring at their eyes. I usually watch, what is it? The Great British Bake Off. And we joke about Paul Hollywood's eyes because they're so blue, and they had this one girl, and of course she was eliminated, and so I quit watching this season. But she had some amazing eyes. I mean, she was like, that's who I'm voting for. And my wife's like, why? I said,
I don't care if she can cook. She's got pretty eyes.
She's not. I didn't care. All of those people that go on those shows can bake. They do some really cool stuff. There was a guy in season 5, I think. It was season 5. It was bread week, and he ends up making this big lion out of bread. Oh, it was phenomenal. It was just wow. I had seen some pretty cool things, but this guy, and then he's still the one they talk about the most when it comes to bread week, because nobody's been able to top that. So, and it
always our subjects go to food. Yeah. Every week it just goes to food.
Well, I will be doing some baking as well. I have actually I got with my mom, and so I will be working on some Jell-O cookies this weekend, as well as a possible cake.
Yeah.
But I did make some homemade donuts, and they didn't last. But Kevin, we could go on and on all night long, but I don't want to keep everyone waiting. I know you probably want to get some rest as well. So
I want to eat. Telling this food, I didn't have supper, so.
Yeah, well, I could keep talking about food. I mean,
I'm gonna get you. I know where you live.
Yeah, well, see, food and the paranormal. Okay, look, that is an actual true statement. Think about it. What's the number one rule every paranormal team has? Do not eat Mexican food before an investigation.
Okay.
I take a bottle of Tums with me because my stomach just picks that time to growl when we're trying to do.
I used to do that in church all the time.
Yeah.
You know, everything be quiet, and all of a sudden
You ever wondered how the pew got its name?
Pew. I better. Can we please sing a hymn now? Something.
Yeah. Well, you know somebody's making it live up to its name when you see them kind of do that one cheek lift. I'm just stretching, yeah. And then you see the wife next to him. Oh my gosh, did you really?
Oh, you are so bad.
There was a team. I remember having a conversation with this team one day, and they were talking about doing an investigation where and they'd had somebody made a mistake and ate Taco Bell before the investigation. So they were doing an EVP in this one room, and they said every time they asked this question, they kept hearing a growl. And they thought, man, and this was them reviewing the tape, okay? Not during, but they were reviewing the tape. And then they went back and said, so, what did you eat before the investigation? And he's like, Taco Bell. Did you have gas during the investigation? He's like, yeah. What time? It was like, and it was picking up every time he was letting them go. It was like, oh my God.
We've gotten to where on my team, we just, because if it's not me, it's somebody else. Right? Me, it's that intestinal gas. Yeah. And that's why I had my Tums. So we got to where we just tell people, you know, if you farted, own it. So when we're doing the recording, if you just go ahead and say that was me. Or when I'm playing it back on my recorder, I don't think I'm hearing a demon growling. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it sounded like Roger. Don't go to that area. There's a strong sulfurish smell. It could be a demon.
Where's the salt?
Yeah, exactly.
You have a thermal camera on, you see this little green cloud behind.
And you know what's hilarious about that? I know they did it for the funny part, but they actually took FLIR cameras into a subway. And you're putting it on people, and you could see every time somebody broke wind because you could see this little. It's like,
all right, we go from food to farts. Okay, that's enough.
We're talking about ghosts. I don't know where.
Well, actually, I'll tell you what, the best EVP session we've ever gotten was during a time we were all sitting around this room, you know, and everybody was laughing. We were cracking jokes the whole time. And nobody paid attention. And because we were having fun, all of a sudden, they were just like one. And so, and that's where if you go back and listen, you could hear us laughing, but you could hear somebody else saying it wasn't that funny, you know. Like, yeah, it was.
Yep.
It was the spirit, though, you know, coming back with it. So
it's like, shut up and listen to me.
I'm talking now. No, you're not. We're having fun. So, yeah. I've actually been told I've got. Well, when we were at the other house, somebody told me I had a little boy spirit following me. And I was like, okay. And so when we left that other house, we sold it and everything. And the first thing we did was we prayed anything and everything that was here with us stays. You are not coming with us to the new house. And thank God, and nothing has happened. So the only thing I got now is raccoons and skunks, and they can stay where they are.
Yep.
So, yes. And Evie, if I'm going to contribute to methane emissions, I will be sending more green clouds to Renee. You can let her know that.
Oh, my buddy Renee. Quit picking on Renee.
Yeah. Oh, Renee, you know, she's got to keep the positivity up, and we got to, you know, keep her happy with some green clouds. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so Kevin, thank you again for joining us tonight.
It's been a lovely evening. And ladies, goodbye.
Yeah. We do have some reviewing to do of the video, so once YouTube completely releases it for everyone to look at, go back and watch, because I'm curious about, the tall one in the back.
Yeah.
I could have sworn I saw something, so we'll find out. But yes, and for you guys that are listening, make sure you stick around and listen to TMV Cafe more often, because we've got more coming up. And next week, well, I can't tell you. You'll just have to tune in to find out. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night, all. Good night.